Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Fallout New Vegas. So we finished the game in the last episode as far as the main story and the main quest goes. And you can't play any further past that point. So now we're going back and doing the DLC to see what the experience would have been as far as doing these few quests. I'm hoping that they're fairly long compared to the other quests. I'm hoping that they're a lot more interesting to me as far as the other quest goes. Finishing the story, you really just get to see Leggett's camp for a brief second, and the Hoover Dam fight is pathetically short. There is frankly quite a lot of level design in Hoover Dam that you just run past. Like you basically need, even for the first playthrough, a walkthrough that will tell you where the quests are and where to go to get a quest. Otherwise you're going to miss stuff. You're going to miss things that are worth looking at as far as level design. And certainly that would be one way in which the DLC could help, by pushing the player perhaps to go back to some locations and investigate some things. Here we have a Jackal Gang leader, which shooting them with this machine gun is actually fairly difficult. So yeah, it would be really nice if the quest went down that direction and let you revisit some places, have some new things to do in some places. But typically the experience is the exact opposite of that. I suppose we should go check to see if Jackal Gang leaders are specifically unique as characters. The Leggett in particular has a mask and a special weapon, but it's not really worth. Let's just take everything. Not really worth that much. We may also find when we get here that we lose our companion. I suspect what we're going to do is we're going to end up on some kind of alien spaceship or in some new location of some sort, with all of our weapons being reset and everything. Nothing happens since the midnight showing at the Mojave Drive hasn't started yet, so I would assume that means we have to wait 16 hours. This definitely feels like this is the alien DLC where we're just going to be abducted by aliens, and it's kind of silly to have that element of aliens in this world. Well, my math was off there. Let's go another 3 hours. Okay, so now we have the midnight showing being projected. This crash satellite seems to be the source of a strange transmission you received. Old World Blues is recommended for experienced couriers level 15 plus. We're at level 39. You have a permission that you will be unable to return to the Mojave until you've solved the mystery of the Big Empty, and you will be able to take anything you can carry with you, and you will be able to return to the Big Empty anytime after completing Old World Blues. If you're up to the challenge and you have all you want to carry with you, examine the satellite a little closer. The atomic wonders of science await. We've lost Raoul's regular maintenance perk, so there goes Raoul. We've lost Eddie. Enhanced sensor perk, so there goes Eddie. So we are left alone to our own. It looks like we are getting teleported, which the Enclave has teleportation technology. And we have an actual intro here, Fallout New Vegas Old World Blues.
In the years before the Great War, Big Mountain had been the home to the brightest minds of the 21st century. Scientists of vision were drawn to the facility to tackle the greatest technological challenges of the era. They sought to create a new world, fueled by technology for the benefit of all mankind. Sonic emitters, space-age alloys, DNA hybridization, force field particle research, autodoc advances in cranial, cardiac, and trauma surgery. The hopes and dreams of a century became realities in the electronic forges of Big Mountain. The nucleus of this research was the Dome, a huge stone facility that held the labs of every science known to man. It was a think
This is
tank
really slow
where
intro.
no problem could not be solved, where no question could not be answered. The Great War brought a new energy to Big Mountain and its scientists. Although sheltered from the front lines, the scientists waged their own war, fighting their battles at the atomic level. Equations and calculations marched endlessly across chalkboards and computer terminals toward one solution: winning the war. For years, the minds and computers of Big Mountain were a blaze of trajectories, weapon schematics, and nuclear theories. The problems began to outpace the solutions, first geometrically, then exponentially. As the war escalated, so did the questions. On the night of October 23rd, 2077, the scientists received an answer that put all their questions to rest. In the aftermath, Big Mountain's silent experiments went to sleep, their creators slowly dying in the new world that had been left behind. And the great stone in the middle of the Big Empty lay untouched, filled with countless technological wonders. Wonders that, in the end, had been answers to the wrong question.
So yeah, really slow intro, but also applaudable to have any intro at all, because it definitely feels like the main game didn't have this level of setup and voice acting. So we feel strangely heavier. Quick inspection of your body reveals faint surgical scars around your head, chest, and back. So we are welcome to the Big Empty. And I thought we might just be in a big black area for a while. Hey, and third-party perspective is available once again. And we are in a patient gown of some sort. So let's just inspect our items. Seems to me like everything is still equipped fairly well. Patient gown is just cosmetic. It looks like I could just put the power armor back on. We haven't lost any of our other items from what I can tell. And while this doesn't feel like alien abductions so much, it does feel like we are going to find a lot of technology in what I think is an enclave or pre-enclave predecessor location. And I would imagine each of these markers would not have been here had I not taken the perk of Explore, which just reveals everything. So there's some extra reason to take that perk, I guess, maybe. So we'll probably want to level up fairly quickly and then put everything in energy weapons, I imagine. And yeah, sneak probably doesn't need to go up too high too fast. Just try and get everything up to as high as possible. Medicine maybe going up to 100 makes some sense too. I question if level 50 might not be the biggest level. And I doubt the DLC is going to let me increase all of my stats to 10, 10, 10. It would be nice if that happened, but I suspect that isn't the case. We have a spineless strength +1. strength, modifying things, so we may get that permanently now as an increase of strength. That being said, it's not going to let you carry a ridiculous amount of extra stuff. So you have here in this DLC what seems like a different approach of what New Vegas could have been. A smaller location where you're not going to have images pop in or pop out. Let's see if we can turn on a flashlight. Yes, we can. I don't know if that's going to help any. But yeah, from this starting position, you're just being shown everything. You can map out where you want to go, what catches your interest. You have here metal things that have been reskinned. So there's something for that. If this puts us down a path of crafting things, we might find... We'll sit on the bench and see if we can get a better look at ourselves. Yep, not really. Smaller, more reasonable sized metal grates. I'm not sure if the perk that lets you crawl through metal grates would let you crawl through that. I'm not sure there actually is even a perk that lets you crawl through metal grates. Scrap metal. But yeah. What you don't have here is a big empty Mojave desert. This is very much an urban environment, and I imagine that is our final destination due to the red coloring. Pretty obviously you're not going to leave the ring of the area, so one thing to question around this certainly would be, is it better to release this as DLC of the base game, or would it have been better to release this as a spin-off game? There is an alternate reality, certainly, where Bethesda may have just been known for putting out spin-off games and instead of DLC. Inherently, Bethesda was not atypical in that they wanted the number of units sold to go up and up and up. So selling DLC for Fallout New Vegas means the number of units sold of Fallout New Vegas goes up. Whereas if you broke this apart as its own separate DLC, a lot of people would have potentially skipped it, and it wouldn't have helped your sales numbers even if they had bought it. But for the gamer, it would have been better if this was a separate game, just at a discount. So obviously we have to go to the sink, whatever that is. It seems like we are going to see a large amount of stuff going on. Here we have a reloading station that would let us craft bullets, some of which are around the gunrunner's arsenal. So what we can check is, I would like to use this bullets, so I would need to craft 5mm bullets. Can I craft 5mm bullets? If I craft these, I'll have less of them, and this is probably not going to scale up because this is supposed to be for level 15. So I think I'll just craft standard 5mm and then maybe decide if I want to break anything down to make more 5mm. I would need rifle powder, so I would have to break down some kind of other bullets that would be rifle powder. The 5.56s. In particular, the issue here is also going to come down to, well, I guess I should also check to make sure I don't have a bunch of 5mm bullets already, because even though this says 84 of 173, if I came over here, I might have a whole bunch of 5mm bullets that are... Yeah, I do. I have JSP hand load 5mm rounds, and I have surplus rounds, so I didn't need to craft anything at all. That was a waste of time. I have a book chute. Let's talk to a book chute. Personal files damaged or missing. Insert backup holotape to restore files. So we don't know what that is about. Here we have a workbench. And I assume we're just gonna overcharge energy cells. And then we could convert missiles to rockets. There is a hint here that we might find better crafting recipes and add a lot more usage to the workbench. If that was the case, then maybe, just maybe, there would be a thought here as far as improving on that. And see, this feels like this may just be a great situation and a great little house to coordinate things and craft things. Let's see. And this, you can talk to the Sync Central Intelligence Unit. So this is just a house. I guess the question would then come down to, can you do everything you would like to do here? This seems like you grow items, and yeah, you have to pick up all of these items if you're going to actually craft with them. We have a hot plate which would let us make items. Yep. And we can't do anything with that yet. So we're going to find personality cores, effectively, that are going to let us expand the usability of this whole place. And then these storage cabinets being right above where you would craft something is a really smart idea. There is an auto dock that would, I guess, heal you up. I imagine there is. Maybe these will refill with cokes every now and then. Big MT or think tank. The only real problem with this is, since this is DLC, you would want it to actually be DLC, in the sense that can't talk to the toaster. You would want to be, can't even turn the light switch on, connected to the main game, so you could fast travel to this location and you could put your companions in this location. Can't even turn off the jukebox. It was safe with a whole new animation style. That's intriguing. Definitely points a picture to what you could have seen as far as adding variety to some places in Fallout New Vegas. Although even changing textures would be changing New Vegas. Certainly if you were going to remake New Vegas, you would use some of this DLC content to think about how you're going to do things. I wonder if we're going to not just have a whole bunch of whole bunch of abilities that are science related as far as how we accomplish our goals. Here we have a little mini Securitron. But yeah, all I've managed to do so far is pick up items. Which, okay. We can cycle a few things extra. But also, I'm almost full of inventory. So what I need to do is be a little bit more realistic about what I want to carry around and what I want to just put away. So, mad scientist scrubs instead of patient gown. And which of these weapons have we really picked up? Scientist glove. Alright, so I need to just remember what I'm gonna drop here. Like, it's not kind of realistic to have Annabelle with us. I was gonna try and keep that, but if I'm gonna keep that, I'm gonna get rid of the cowboy repeater. Do that, and we'll do that. And then this gun also will, I guess we'll keep that. Meanwhile, remnant power armor goes, and we'll keep the helmet just for ease of use. If I was expecting to be here longer, I would choose to sort things out a little bit more, but I don't think the game's going to take that long for this DLC. So we will just put anything of any weight, which apparently had a massive amount of purified water on me. That probably wasn't even from this game, from this DLC. We're just going to dump everything into this inventory to start with. That'll get me down to 71 before I even start to think about any miscellaneous stuff. I do have a lot of mods. So if we get to the point at which we are modding things or crafting guns, I'm hoping these mods will play a better role. I suspect what we'll find here is that there's also going to be less of an emphasis on money. And so we might not see too much actual currency. That gets me down to a very light amount of items, which I am confused about. How can I really be at 39 weight? Did this perk otherwise do something to me? Did I get some other perk? Spineless. Spine has been replaced with advanced technology. Your torso can no longer be crippled, and your strength and damage threshold have been increased by +1. Interesting. Let's see if we can talk to this. Nope, that is broken too. So what was our actual quest? Find out where the hell you are. Okay, so either go this way this one requires a key, so there's only one way out. Strange feeling of pacifism comes over you. You find you cannot draw your weapon for some reason. So I am just under someone's control. Interesting. These are just elevators. What we may see in this DLC, let's see. Yeah, we do need a flashlight on for better visuals, is that there's just going to be a lot of interior stuff happening. Okay, let's take a look around. Seems to me like we got some floating brains and jars. They're going to talk to us.
I thought I heard the pacification field kick in. All right, shh. Nobody move. I'll handle this. Be warned, intruder. You are in the presence of the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. The collective geniuses of... We... By Oppenheimer, which one of you self-professed geniuses has been adjusting my volume knob? Who was it? Was it you, 8? Oh, Dr. O, was it? Likely story. O couldn't spark 2 neurons if they were in a lattice of biomed gel.
What? Me? Breaking news, Klein. It wasn't me, alright? I'm the robotical engineer. 8 is sound waves. That's his specialty. You always do this. You always demean me in front of guests. And it's not O, alright? It's...
Enough! Either of you do it again, it'll be the last time. Now... Great. Now I forgot what I was saying. What was I talking about?
So, here we have more interesting, silly characters interacting with other interesting, silly characters and actual writing going on. We saw basically none of this in New Vegas as it was in the main game. And we could have definitely used more of this. How are you all speaking through one voice box? Are you the ones who perform surgery on me? Not to cut your speech off, is there something coming in on the big monitor? So you have several different dialogue options, and I don't think any of them really matter too much.
Did it just say something? Anyone catch that? Boros, you work with animals. Translate. It's a lobotomite. Here, in the dome. Oh, as if this situation couldn't get any worse. Now we've got lobotomites. Dala, get the spray before it excretes all over everything.
So, I assume we're going to see an enemy class of just lobotomized humans.
Dr. Klein, if my hypothesis is correct, this lobotomite is the repository of the brain we sent the signal to, the skinvelope once containing it. If so, it's proof that there may indeed be something beyond the crater. Just look at it. The way it blinks. It's like a big, hairless teddy bear.
I know what it is, Dollar. I want to know why it's down here. With its limbs all over everything. And are those penises I see wriggling on its feet? Disgusting.
I believe those are toes, Dr. Klein. Little teddy bear toes. Penises are much larger than those tiny extremities. Not that I would know.
I don't recall the human penis ever being that large.
It depends on one's own frame of reference, Dr. O. Look at its little nose with its 2 orifices for ingesting oxygen.
So,
Noses?
I would have
By the
thought
great static.
this
These
was human
lobotomites
brains, but
confound me
it
with
seems
their
like it
sheer
may
number
just
of
be
useless
crazy
extremities.
AI brains. So we have a science 5 where we can hold up 1 finger, point at itself, point at them, hold up 5 fingers. So that would give us more XP, so we'll go with that.
Now it's holding up an array of fully erect hand penises. If it tries to insert them, activate vivisectors.
Dr. Klein,
Wait. I don't believe those gestures were random. Random at all.
Of course, that is maybe a little bit PG-13.
The lobotomite understands us.
This game weirdly is a little bit more mature than it should be in a few small locations.
Something whose brain has been extracted.
Nonsense. Lobotomites can't comprehend us.
8, have you been in the mentats again? If we slow down our oral processoreceptors to understand this excretion, we'll all be rendered ignorant.
All of you, power down, shut up, and let me prove once and for all how wrong you all are.
One of those voices
As
is
usual.
a famous
Lobotomite.
voice actor
Do you
from
understand me? Can
an
you
Adult Swim
speak?
cartoon.
Those were words, weren't they? In the form of questions. He's asking me questions. Is this some kind of trick? Our efforts have turned against us. In playing God, we created a monster.
Perhaps as we were ruthlessly lobotomizing it with our cutters, we filled this skin envelope with awareness. A teddy bear with new stuffing.
Wait. If what you're theorizing is this lobotomite understands us, can reason with us,
Then this may be just the answer we've been looking for. At last, a chance to... Dr. Klein, a transmission from the Forbidden Zone, coming right at us.
This is a slow
It can
start,
only
certainly,
be.
but it's
If it
entertaining.
isn't my old colleagues, the mighty think tank of Big Mountain. Big fools, all of you. It is I, Dr. Mobius, transmitting from my dome-shaped dome in the Forbidden Zone. A zone that is, yes, forbidden to you. Even now, my deadly robo-scorpions swarm across Big Mountain with their pincers and pointy laser tails. Soon, all science will be mine. Even the technology sealed in the Big Mountain research centers cannot save you. So cower in your think tank. Wait for the end. That's all. Goodbye.
Yeah, they all seem very crazy.
Mobius. Always the same broadcast. He's clearly mad, driven insane by his flawed and imprecise kindergarten-level research methodology.
what are we going to do? There's no way we can breach the Forbidden Zone. There's those robot scorpions everywhere.
The Forbidden Zone, where no brain has ever entered, nor ever returned.
Except Dr. Mobius and the technologies that could save us. They are out of our reach.
And Dr. Mobius mocks us. Did you see his cracked monitor? He's clearly let himself go.
What? Ask the lobotomite for help? 8, I think you need the fluid levels in your logic assist pumps checked.
If this lobotomite responded, Dr. Klein, then it is clearly intelligent, perhaps even displays heretofore unknown levels of helpfulness.
But what of its brain? We scooped that out. We don't even know where we left it. And for putting it back in, none of us have the knowledge.
Yes, but it's still aware and responsive. Look at it. It's regarding us even now, with its big teddy bear eyes. If we ask it politely, and leave the part about the unnecessary, ruthless lobotomizing out, it might be favorably disposed to us.
I don't think they really lobotomized it. If he did, I don't know how I'm walking around.
We removed your brain, yes. So soft, barely wrinkled, yet so flush with knowledge and experience. Brain extraction technology has been standard practice at Big Mountain for an immeasurable amount of time.
Once the brain was out, then came the coils. The Tesla coils. The coils of Nikola Tesla.
So we now have a brainless perk. Your brain has been replaced with advanced technology. Your head can no longer be crippled and is resistant to chemical addiction, 25% resistance, and shock from body damage plus 5%. Damage threshold minimal plus 1. So, yeah, video game wise, I really don't care if the nameless courier character is brainless or spineless in any way. If it's giving me more stats, more XP, things like that, I am more than happy to be brainless.
Yeah, no need to brag. Wherever your brain is, it's transmitting thoughts to you through the
Tesla coils in its head.
This is fortunate in many respects. If your brain was anywhere in the dome, why, you could access your aggression centers.
Circumventing the pacification field. This is a no-no. We have never been in a fight. We do not want that. Reminds me of my days in American High. And Richie Marcus.
Okay. So we have a science, a medicine skill that will give us some more experience. So let's go with that.
Darla, was it necessary this time?
I assume full responsibility. I take my duties in the prodding and excision of living, breathing tissue quite seriously. Although in truth, the autodoc had done most of the work already. Quite industrious, almost cut into all my investigations. Once it had removed the brain and I misplaced it, other organs began to cry for direction, using your nerves as telegraph wires. Rather than let them send their signals, I removed them as well. Shh, little organs. Go to sleep in your tanks. Dala loves you.
First was the heart.
So you're gonna just have to find every part of your body. This is very much a Wizard of Oz story, I imagine. So, heartless perk, quote unquote. Scars on your chest seem to confirm what the think tank is saying. You cannot be poisoned, and filters in your artificial blood pump will regulate bleeding and healing, allowing all healing items, chems, to function at a higher level. Robots are now confused by you and 50% less likely to score a critical hit.
Oh, wait, I mean, second was the heart. Brain was first. Third was the spine.
We had already gotten the spineless perk.
spine. Totally overrated, that arrangement of vertebrae. Look at me, with my lumbar and thoracic curvature. Never had a use for any of that. Spineless is what I prefer.
So, this is a really slow setup, certainly, but yeah, it seems like if you had done this DLC around level 15, then you probably would have gotten several perks, unless you're just going to lose them at the end of the DLC, that you could have benefited from throughout the rest of the game, making the game even easier. Which, if you were going to play a hardcore mode and on the highest difficulty, DLC might be absolutely necessary for most players.
To be correct, you should say the auto-dock took out your brain. It did all the heavy lifting. It has never worked so hard before. It was unusual. It worked so hard on your surgery, it destroyed its own memory. How odd. I bet your brain remembers what happened.
That auto-dock junk heap was one of Mobius's creations, like the rest of the talking scrap metal in the attic.
After that, the brain lost itself. Not in the metaphysical sense. Might have gotten flushed into one of the pipes. Actually, that's pretty likely.
If so, it was flushed all the way to Mobius. Flush. That is the sound of flushing. By the Fisher of Rolando, enough of this biological surgery talk. Lobotomite, listen to my voice. It denominates me to ask, but we need your help. In most probable of probabilities, our enemy, Mobius, has your brain. This is not good. He will most likely come after our brains next. We want you to stop him, somehow, with science.
Seems like you might just be able to say no and play this a very different way, which maybe would make an argument for New Game Plus.
Yes, it is our only chance. A desperate plan that came to us after Mobius's first broadcast. Maybe, just maybe, if we reclaim these buried technologies, we can put an end to Mobius and the horrors spawning from the Forbidden Zone.
Here we have an intelligent option, so we'll definitely take that.
The plan is very complicated. We are still calculating how it would work if it succeeded. That is our part of the plan.
See, now ideally I'd just like to pick this and get to actual gameplay, but let's ask this question just in case.
No.
You are equipped to retrieve the technologies with your primitive form. We are not.
It's kind of embarrassing. You have hands, and a heartbeat, sort of. And eyes, mostly the hands. There's door handles and lockers and...
Enough! We need your help. Will you help us?
Just spit it out before you bore me to death.
Excellent. This is turning out much better than the activate the retreat protocols and cower in my room idea I had earlier.
Agreed. Oh, and I've used my robotical knowledge to, transmit the radio map waves to... Settle down, 8. I would have gotten it in a second, all right? 8's transmitted the last known coordinates of the research centers. They, well, move sometimes. Or get buried. Or blow up.
So we
8 is
completed the
correct.
quest.
All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not want the cold hard technology, however. So do not give in to your biological tired laziness and decide you would sweat too much carrying them. You have a new spine. Use it. And even if you die in the act of reclamation, simply reaching them will auto-transmitify the schematics to us. That is still good. For us.
Let's not care so much about the dangers, and let's ask what the
The
technologies.
technologies are the X2 transmitter antenna array, used to focus coherent thought at excessively high frequencies.
The psychoanalytic, cardiac dampening, sneaky stealth suit. A suit like nothing this world has ever heard, seen, or could ever see.
And 8's sonic soundwave emitter projectile gun, able to broadcast sound at lethal frequencies. It also gives a great biogel massage.
There. We have informed you of all we need. We estimate if you are focused, your time investment will be minimal, by our standards. If you work quickly, you will be the recipient of a gesture of gratitude from us. We do not bestow these old world gestures lightly. Our intentions exactly. The important thing is you rush quickly through this task so as not to waste our time. Do
So the
not
game
get
wants-
curious, or you will end up like the cat of Schrödinger.
wants you to move
We
fast,
feared you would be tempted
apparently.
to explore Big Mountain Crater and examine the many amazing non-mandatory research labs that lie off your designated path. The many such optional explorations are discouraged. Work hurriedly as if you have blinders on, and leave curiosities and items of interest alone.
So many sciences and developments. Pass them by. Let impatience and the desire to simply finish.
So this is
end
much
it all
like Good
quickly
Springs
and
telling you to
carelessly guide you.
go south. But these guys are less trustworthy, so I think most people
our
would...
test results will make a note about how quickly you ran our maze. No
So I
bell.
think the move here is definitely to
After all, there will
not...
be plenty of time
skip.
afterward to partake of the experiments once our bidding is done.
Doesn't sound like my style. Maybe I'll do a little exploring.
What illogic is this? Keep your filthy penis-tipped feet out of our labs and secrets.
There are things here no lobotomite was meant to see. Things that would astound and possibly terrify. Terrify!
Yeah, we don't come into your lab and decant your solutions.
Only the magnificence of our monitors allow for true comprehension of the wonders of Big Mountain. Shield your jellied eyes lest they burn from your skull.
Ah, that is correct. You must walk upon your many penised feet. Much slower than our advanced hovering robotical frames.
The little teddy bear could always run right into the pylon perimeter on its thick, turgid feet, returning it to us quickly and directly.
Let's see, what's pylons?
The radar fence that surrounds the big mountain crater will protect you from straying beyond the facility.
The mighty radar fence protects us all. Get too close to the blinking posts, and the proximity warning shall be your warning. You are too close.
If you get near it, your vision will blur as the electrodes in your head shut off one by one. Click, click, click.
Possible memory loss will occur, along with long-term nerve degradation. It is tied to not having a brain attached to your nervous system, but the nerve degradation is nothing to worry about. Such degradation would take many lifespans to become evident, and all biology dies. Such tiny inconveniences are less than the greater convenience and conveyance. You see, if rendered unconscious by the pylons, you will be returned to the sink, seemingly instantaneously by your deadened perceptions.
Out there? We're not going out there. It's dangerous.
This is just
We're
way too
smart,
much setup.
not suicidal.
Oh,
Some of these conversations
Dr.
definitely need to happen
Klein?
later.
if I may intersect for a moment.
Again,
What is
you
it?
just do this as a
The
walk and
lobotomite
talk.
is asking me things, and I'm trying to ignore them. My processors can't ignore you both at the same time.
Well, you know how we asked it to fetch the sonic emitter thing? Turns out we already have it. What are the odds?
What is this, a high school science fair? Get your act together. You're making us look like a collection of round earthers.
You're always yelling. My receptors can't take it anymore. And neither can my feelings.
Yeah,
I am
is
yelling because you
frankly
contaminated
too good
specimens.
voice acting
Can't keep
compared to the
your
rest of the
probes
game.
off the volume knob on my voice module.
Feels more like I'm watching a cartoon than playing a video game.
It is truly
just
the
trying
end
to
of
finish
all
this.
intelligence when the lobotomite speaks more wisdom than you geniuses. So, if we have the sound wave, sonic projecto thing gun, then what in Heisenberg's name do we need from X8? Anyone?
I believe we need a new frequency embedded into the gun. It was designed to broadcast many sounds once charged. We just don't know the frequency.
And it is lost in X8, just as X8 is forever lost to us.
It's
The
been like 50
sadness of
minutes.
my high school days. The
Almost a
sadness
full
of my
hour of
youth.
talking.
My both lost.
It's too much. It's just
Oh,
not
really,
balanced.
Boros?
Somebody
You
should have
did
gotten
in high
that
school was
feedback.
call
Somebody
me
should have figured
Tattletale and all the
this
kids you
out.
hated, you little teacher's pet brown hound.
Give the lobotomite the emitter. Does it have an audio effect frequency loaded?
Oh, I don't think so. Wait.
What is he doing?
I think he's sonjaculating into the gun. Getting it warmed up. Ding. Turkey's done.
You give it to the lobotomite. I'm not touching that thing.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll do it if you two are going to be ashamed of your own technological needs. Let me give it a little sonic sterilization first. Ooh. All right. All antibacterial fresh. Here, my little teddy bear. I have thoroughly removed all Robco termlink code spew from the device. It is clean, shiny, and ready for your...
So this is Robco. Alright. So we could go with guns, or we could go with energy weapons being at 50. Let's go with this energy weapons.
Yes, I believe Watt's electronics tended to make the battery shelf life on the low end.
They certainly did. Batteries for my vivisectors would always come up short right before a climax.
I think Watts manufactured holodiscs. Or was it holotapes? Never can keep those two straight. Anyway, we're out of small energy cells. Dala. You have some? Why do we... Actually, never mind. I don't even want to know. And no, I don't want to handle your batteries. Just pass them on to the lobotomite yourself.
Okay, we have another check, so we might as well just go with this. I don't know how they're handing me anything.
What did it say? Spit lead? What, like pencils?
Oh, I think it wants a combustion pistol.
A gun? Are you mad? We can't give it a gun. Guns kill. Leave big open holes in you that are like sores, but worse.
Dr. 8 is correct. We already have given the teddy bear a lethal sonic death ray, filled with his sonic ejaculate and sterilized by my soft oohing. Giving the teddy bear a gun would be the equivalent of following a glass of hemlock with an Abraxo chaser. Delicious and redundantly deadly.
If we're going to bring the Socratic method into it, fine. Give the Loboto bear a combustion gun. Burroughs, don't you have something like that?
Are you mad? We can't give it a gun. Guns... Wait, I said that already. Yes, I have the Cyberdog gun. With the little floppy metal ears and the curious nose sensor. Here.
Fine. Done. That gun makes me uncomfortable anyway. Always worried it's going to hump my chassis. Anything else, lobotomite?
We have a higher gun stat so we can get some bullets.
Fine. Boros, more ammo. The good stuff.
Top shelf ammunition. Let's see.
Almost to level 40. We passed
and
level
here's some
40.
JFP. As if bullets need jackets. The JFP might make it ill and poop a lot, but when you're hungry, you're hungry.
These should be sterilized too, right?
The sonic emitter should be sterilized and more than enough for you to encircle your warm hands around.
Careful where you're pointing that.
Force fields prevent us.
Yeah, and at this point I am
The
just
sonic emitter.
That only...
done with all this.
Oh,
Plenty of rewinding already going on, and you're...
So it only works on force fields in the crater?
Yes. Maybe. Well,
Yeah, we lost that part of the schematics. Or Bora.
Oh, this is just too... I could care less about this. Can I go? Yeah, let's just get to this point.
fine. So, yes. Get these things from... Well, good.
No! That would put it...
We could give it Mobius's
So
own
55
room.
minutes is
Swear his
my
brain got scooped out
maximum, I guess,
Might
of
be more
just his
comforting.
dialogue. Like, this is just insane to
Also
have
prevented from going
this.
to Higgs Village and taking up residence there with my teddy bears.
Your logic combined with my desire to keep the think tank lobotomite free has swayed me. Here, I present the Sync Central Intelligence. Lobotomite, take this chip to the sink, plug it in, and make sure the chip is clean, or it could skip. Then make whatever crude...
Man, we just can't do this. I can trade with the sync intelligence and I need something to activate this function, won't I?
I cannot dispute your logic. Do we have objects to...
What?
Yeah.
Just skip through all this. It's just way too much.
Again.
And we can just get more caps with
If
better
I-
barter.
How do you...
Of course, we can't do that one, so...
Are
Let's
there
go
other
with-
chips?
Are you...
He's at
It is not. But you should... There is...
That is just way too much. There. And that was a barter we just failed for 50. Science is at 100. So what do I think we should do? I think we should bring medicine to 100. I think 55 there makes sense. And then 75 there makes sense. That gives me one more skill point that I can throw into that. Meanwhile, it's been a long time since we've seen any of these quests. So, not sure if we are at a point where I should take... Like, I may have only 5 more perks I can take at all. So I need to be fairly careful about what I would want to take. The more interesting stuff is this level 50 perk. You're going to want to take either this, this, or this to reset your stats. And then I think most of these other perks probably don't matter too much. This meltdown sounds like it would be interesting to have, but you just can't accept any of that. So yeah, I don't think there's any way I can take anything other than misfortune. That's something that would be at least slightly interesting and different. There might be a crafting perk here, which it would be definitely helpful if you had a crafting perk. All of these items are definitely helpful, but they are so minimally helpful too. kind of want to take Mysterious Stranger too. But then also I would like to take Mr. Sandman, and I would also like to take Cannibal, and yeah, that's more perks than what are really going to be offered. So one thing I would say about that animation is that these other brains just weren't in this shot, and so you just didn't really see them much. Right. Let's look at our quest and see if we've got some kind of timer. I don't think we do. I think the game is basically lying to you as far as you needing to rush. And I think I'm just going to have to assume that to be the case. Here we have Dr. O, here we have Dr. Dahlia. Here we have a Foot Locker. Scrap electronics, sensor modules. More things to grab. I wonder if at some point we're going to be able to talk to Dr. 8. And I wonder if there's really only one way in and out of this location. This whole area up here may just be for finding a few items. Okay. This may be a much more balanced experience as far as Mobius may make a reasonable offer to me as far as this looks like this might be some kind of teleporter. Yeah. Dr. Mobius's glasses. Just pick up everything. He may make a reasonable offer to me to side with him. We have here what I would assume can't be all of the brains, because these are 5 male brains, and Dahlia definitely doesn't seem like a male brain, although maybe I'm gonna be wrong about that. Or it may have been a male brain at one time, but now feels more like a woman, acts more like a woman. We have an item I cannot move. So tubing, dino toys. This is all just going to mostly be junk, I suspect. Cabinet, but then also magnum rounds on the shelf of the cabinet. But let me throw out a thought here. If this DLC is supposed to be an expansion that is all about science, there's nothing really progressive about the science in this game. I have a whole bunch of radios. A clock. Clocks seem to be all pointing at the same time. Yeah. It would be a very different experience if it's crazy to have 3 filing cabinets next to each other. Yeah, it would be a very different experience overall if you had to craft one item, say 10 times, to then use 10 of those items to craft something else.
I can hear your penis-tipped feet tromping around.
That joke is going to get old very fast, I think. Like, the whole thing about subverting expectations is once you've done the joke, it becomes not shocking and surprising. And so you could do a callback, but there needs to be a certain level of break, following action between the first time a joke happens and a callback to a joke. Here are the mannequins that definitely would make more sense to have a location where you could decorate all of the interesting, the flowers cannot be moved. Let's just double check to see if that's the case. Yep. Definitely would have liked this to be activated so you could dress them up in different outfits as a statue display. So I'm guessing each one of these is supposed to be effectively just a bedroom for the robot brains where they potentially hover on this and charge. That would be my guess. This is what's the visual storytelling that they're telling here. So yeah, there's no reason it seems to come back to this location. So let's come back here and see what we have that we can reactivate now. I'm not sure if we can reactivate everything or only some things. Also, I'm not sure that the game hasn't just locked up. If this locks up here, that's going to be a disaster scenario. Because that would mean I'd have to go through all that dialogue a second time. And there was a lot of XP checks to get XP, and I wouldn't want to lose that XP. But it definitely shouldn't be taking this long. Okay. So my hope here is that we can send a stop signal from the Steam client to the game, and then relaunch it, and just hope that it actually saved. If it didn't save, I really could not tolerate going through that a second time. Even trying to rush through it would be annoying. I could read a barter magazine before talking to them, potentially, if I had to go through it again. Okay, we are here, and it is going to be everything a second time. Alright, well, let's read the barter magazine to start with. This is gonna be annoying.
I thought I heard.
Let's see if we can.
That response.
See if we can.
If it isn't my own.
So that whole first part there skipped that way. And so maybe there wasn't any speech checks at that point. And I have to wonder if this isn't a case where most of the people playing and testing the game skip through all this dialogue. Yeah. And maybe that's why they didn't get the feedback. I imagine they did get the feedback and they just didn't listen. So I'm hoping
Ace is
here.
correct. All we need are the schematics. This does not mean we do not want the... So...
I did get like 18,000 XP.
If... Right.
Maybe it is a case that just pressing A on the first selection is the easiest way. This is still slow even skipping through everything. And I definitely don't feel like this quest is better done at level 15. You just wouldn't have
Yes.
yeah. This is still just way too much. Here's the barter. Challenge, barter challenge again. Barter challenge again. Barter challenge yet again.
Again, the launch. Yep.
Then an intelligence challenge. Put that one up. Bump that one up. And then we'll take misfortune again. We can find her. Alright, and what we found over here is just not super interesting stuff, so we'll ignore that. Should we possibly make a safety save outside of loading? Yeah, it worked perfectly that time. But even that's a little too slow. So let's see, what can we put a... Summoning Commander Revelation is now available in the vendor interface.
Salutations and felicitations, sir, and a most jocund welcome to the sink. I am your electronic valet and household central processor. May I be of service, sir?
Sir, you're aware I'm a woman, right?
Indubitably, sir, but it is with a great lugubriousness that I must disclose that my programmers installed only the masculine honorific, sir. Moreover, they neglected to enclose a parameter by which said honorific might be omitted altogether. Over my most strenuous of remonstrances, sir. Regrettably not, sir. All modules in this habitat are synthetic personalities atop a mundane operating system. There is no intelligence here, sir. Indeed, sir. Though if Sir's aim is to activate them, I lament to inform, sir, that most have been offline for some years. If Sir were to ask my opinion, I should venture that Sir is better off without them. However, if Sir is determined to inflict upon Sir's self their dubious services, Sir might locate backup personality disks elsewhere in the facility.
so it can access their functions without loading personality holotapes.
Tragically, the core operating systems are also located on the personality tapes, sir. Once the tape is installed, Sir may request I switch their dialectic interfaces off, and I shall oblige with great delectation. However, Sir will still be required to locate and install a backup holotape to access their functionality.
So we have to get the holotapes.
As I am given to understand, sir, this facility was once the property of a Dr. Mobius. He crafted the personality modules as part of a collection of experiments on the subject of machine-human interface. As to the reason for the unusual choices of devices to receive the modules, I cannot say. Indubitably, sir.
So what services do you provide?
In addition to managing the personality matrices of the other household utilities, I can provide Sir with direct access to the commissary. Any goods Sir might require may be purchased through my shopkeep interface, whence tiny robots shall deliver them forthwith to this very domicile.
So we can get our equipment repaired and we can buy some
Very good,
things.
sir. And might I venture to opine that a new trilby might be just the thing to complete Sir's ensemble?
Okay, so what can we buy? We have a scientist glove. We have a lot of caps to buy this weapon. Let's go ahead and buy the shovel too. And frankly, it's just not going to be that much. Meanwhile, we have basic combat armor, patient gown, and scientific scrubs. Then aid-wise, I suspect there isn't too much here of value. And then miscellaneous-wise, that's what's gonna get a little bit crazier, I think. Just take everything out. Bullets-wise, that would be a little bit too much to spend, and we don't really need it. Then we have a Sync CIU, which seems to also sell bullets. Amongst other things, critical intensive unit or care intensive unit would be what I guess CIU is for. No, Sync CIU is the default name of this. Commissary interface unit, I bet. So yeah, buying all of this. Let's just start with a empty everything except for ammo. I don't see a great reason to buy all the ammo. That seems like that would be fairly expensive. So that's going to be a lot of caps being spent, in part to then see what we can craft over here. Doesn't seem like too much.
A most rapturous good morrow.
And then these are just bullets.
On your return to your domicile, sir. I trust you shall
So,
find things in order and
the only other thing would be potentially making this.
contain.
So how much stuff do we have at the moment? I do think we probably are at a spot now. Go ahead and just put this away, put this away. We have 2 sonic emitter revelations. And let's see. What else do we want to do? Imagine the move is to just go through all of this again and clear out our inventory. Just to get everything done. Everything as low as possible. $88 is probably good enough. So our quests Find the missing modules for the sync, autodoc, and biological research. Seems to be a good side quest to do, whereas I think all of the X quests are hub world quests. So we can't just fast travel. So I'm not sure how we really get to these places so far. So we still can't really activate anything. So yeah, let's just make sure if he has anything else. Yep. Science glove. Perk that up. Can't mod any of these with any of the mods. What does this canine cyberdog gun really look like? Oh, I guess it has some kind of dog-like brain in it. He squelches when you put him away. Interesting. So I suspect you're not going to get a companion in this game. I think I am capable of going to the Y-17 medical facility, which I think would be... Am I facing the right direction? Yes, this way. And so we know there's robo-scorpions, but I don't know if it isn't more a case that there's just a...
You will not escape the eyes of my robo-scorpions or their penises.
Okay. So you are out and about. It is just much more of a location that has something somewhere within 5 feet of every spot you can see. It does look like things are going to get a little bit more grimy and dirty the further you get away from the dome. What is this? Lobotomite. Alright. Is it reasonable to go single-handed against that guy? No. In fact, I probably could have told you that looking at the deep damage per second here. This does 52 damage per second, this does 26. So we'll do that. And then this reduces your intelligence by 2. And this would increase your strength by 1. Science and intelligence plus 1 are not even necessary. In my case, I'm already at 10 intelligence. So we will move our way upward. And I think the general idea here is also that I will heal myself. I see a unfilled in triangle in these general directions. So down we will go. Using the pipes textures. Maybe I should have actually run on the pipes. My radiation levels probably not going to be particularly high because I have such a high radiation resistance. So, yep, there's a location here, or we can just go to the main locations first. I think going to the main locations to get your house in good condition will be helpful. The question, of course, to ask is that going to be a house that you can fast travel to, or is it going to be like the presidential suite where you have to go through a couple loading animations to actually reach the house, making it fairly useless. I definitely expected to fight more of these type of robots in the main game. Definitely see a lot of them in Fallout 3. It definitely seems like we are already seeing more random encounters. Not sure I particularly think players would enjoy punching dogs, even robot dogs. I think they made a mistake in that case. But this definitely feels like this is going to be more about crafting than police cyber dogs. Y-17 medical facility. I believe is where we were going, and I guess the question is this going to be an actual building you go inside, or is it simply just going to be a destroyed building? Are we at the correct place? Yes, we are. So, we were told not to do any side quests, we're immediately doing side quests. Do I really have any reason to listen to the brains? No. Even if they were going to give me like a large like number of caps, that's only going to help for like Gunrunner's arsenal. Okay. So I'd say that item is not working. Patient gown. Paired with more patient gown. So let's try the sonic emitter. This is probably the gun you're supposed to be engaging with. That's not going to work, however, because that was all my bullets. So I am going to have to just constantly craft more bullets if I'm going to try and use the sonic emitter. That too is going to take up a lot of bullets if I use the Robo Dog. So I definitely am getting the feeling that this might be a DLC that is an experiment in forcing more crafting. Oh, and I needed the sonic emitter to take down these shields. So I should not have been using it as an actual weapon at all. And I don't have Eddie as a character to give me a crafting bench. So I might be in a really poor position. Nope, we do have a crafting bench here. So the game has thrown me a bone. And almost certainly there's enough items around here that would let me craft more bullets for the sonic emitter. But I do need to know what kind of bullets it is. So sonic emitter uses E cells. Let's see if we can craft E cells. We have SE cells. Electron charge packs. I think we probably should also check something here. I might have just a bunch of overcharged energy cells. Dog hide belts might lead to crafting super stim packs. Okay. So if we equip this, we now have 126 E cells. If we scroll down here, we have actually 808 overcharge cells. Okay. So we are just in a good spot with E cells. We just had been converting them to overcharged this whole time throughout the main game. Well, that didn't work. That didn't work either. So there must be an upgrade I need to get on this gun before I can take down shields. This is going to very quickly turn into running around in several different places, I think, or coming back to this location later, unless there's some other computer that you could hack to turn down the cells. Now, what I suspect is going to happen here, and this is what I had suggested that they had done otherwise, is that we will find just a crafting bench in a very convenient location in every single room we go into. I imagine we'll see rooms like this that are just little miniature arenas. Fight a few people, not super long linear dungeons, although I would be okay with super long linear dungeons too, just to keep things interesting. I'm gonna end up with so much extra junk. Alright, we do have a terminal here. Let's read this, or pretend like we're gonna read this. This is a sharp contrast to 50 minutes of voice acting talking to you, but I imagine we're not gonna see too much voice acting in the rest of this DLC. There's an interesting level of comedy in the story that is told in the Fallout universe, in that there is just not really any sanity or logic to a lot of the science experiments. It's just experimenting to make an experiment as much as a silly sci-fi story would be. There's definitely not any ethical concerns on whether you should do an experiment, or questions as to why an experiment would be necessary or helpful to society in general. Bunch of weapon repair kits. We may end up with just such a high number of items and weapon repair kits in particular that it becomes valuable to sell them all off. So you can see a dog character here.
Big Mountain, I, Dr. Movies, will soon control you and all of science.
So, two choices here. We either walk back to this place, or we fast travel to this place. There are enemies nearby, so I guess the game is going to force me to take care of the enemies first. So inherently may just it's not a particularly fast gun. So we found a side area, which maybe wasn't actually on the map. Yeah, you fast travel through here and then you have to load to get into here.
Might I be of service, sir?
Let's see. Need my equipment repaired. I'd like to buy some things. Okay. So the auto dock is what we just got.
Well, how about that? Old auto dock's back online.
I guess we will get some more voice
at
acting.
Well, firstly, I would say providing wholeness of the body is service enough, but if you must know, I'm also programmed with cosmetical subroutines.
We can change our
Diagnostics
appearance.
says they're offline at the moment, though. Something about corrupted data files and all manner of such foolishness. If you want a
Would it
haircut or a
unlock?
nose job that won't leave you looking like a ghoul with alopecia, you'll have to find
I doubt this will
replacement discs
unlock
for 'em.
new 3D
Also,
models you
and
could
I won't
select.
swear to
Nor
this, but
would I care
recollect at
about
some
that.
point having a few implant installation modules. Can't speak to where they got to, though.
Let's see. Can you perform a psychiatric evaluation?
Concerned about the state of your mind, are you? Well, such things ain't my specialty, but I'm happy to tender my opinion as to your mental health. I should make you aware that the benefits of such a procedure are exclusive. That is, this only works once. Now, are you sure this is what you want?
Yeah, let's not do that now.
Well, I'll be right here. You require some additional services?
So we now have the cosmetic surgery.
Rightly so.
So he's capable of a thorough physical exam, curing the patient of most common ailments, radiation sickness, lacerations, broken bones, chemical addiction. In addition, he can give haircuts and perform cosmetic surgery. Let's see if we can install implants. This would do 10% Cazador damage for 8,000 caps. Do I really need that? That's a lot of caps. Like, it definitely feels to me like you would be better off buying gun runner things. Haircuts is missing. Cosmetic surgery is not missing, so we could change our appearance, but it is still just the same presets, or you could customize.
Bones connected to the leg bone. You require some addition.
Swap body parts. So we're probably going to find our body parts and swap them back.
Leg bones connected to the bone.
Might I be of service, sir?
We could switch off Sync's personality matrix if we wanted to. I don't think we're going to do that. And then this would just come down to where are we really going to go with some of these items. I could sell combat armor at the moment. I think that would be something to consider. Merc grunt outfits. But why sell something for 7 caps when I could possibly use it to increase the status of something else? So, as far as apparel goes, this Valiance Radii Asceniator is a spinning thing around your head. Let's see. Which would just regenerate and increase your endurance more than a combat armor helmet. It would just give me defense. Okay. So that makes me suspect I should probably keep all of these weapons. Go ahead and get rid of things that are more generic and or just not likely to be useful. There's also an element here of just we need one of each of these to take with us when we leave. So clean out our inventory. We can make some dog steak, which imagine dog steak might be one thing we could sell. Let's see. Dog steak is unlikely to turn into anything else. 36 caps. It's not a lot of value there. So can I fast travel? Then the question would be to this spot. No. So what would be the easiest way out? It's just to do that. Okay, we opened this gate, but we didn't look in here to see if there was anything of any real interest. Doesn't look like there is anything here. If anything, it just kind of feels like it's more of a cover-based Oops. I'm out of regular bullets. That definitely highlights how the whole modified bullets the Gunrunners does is not helpful. One thing about this DLC that might be intriguing is that it does allow potentially for a player who's newer to the game and just bad at firing from the hip instead of using VATS, or just bad at using VATS in general because they don't understand that that really is the way to go if you're fighting anything that even is slightly dangerous. I assume this blue is not grass, but it looks like grass, but I guess it is just grass. Some kind of, I guess, artificial turf or painted grass. So we take a straight walk that direction next episode, and we'll continue to try and upgrade ourselves and our location. Does seem to me like it's going to be a big enough journey, and the world design seems very interesting in that you have this whole central spot you start in and then not too far to get to the edge, and if you do hit the edge you can just run into the edge and be teleported back to the center. There's a slight danger, I guess, here of maybe seeing a lot of the same repetitive locations or doing a lot of walking with just nothing but random encounters happening, but I'm okay with that. That gives me an excuse to to grind out a few bits of XP. You could also miss some sections, or end up in the section that would be part of the main story, which I'm not willing to really do that. I want to just kind of investigate everything I can, as long as I have at least a quest to do it. It comes off almost like the Prey Manhunter spin-off DLC game that I think you can just, no, it's not called Prey Manhunter, it's called Prey Moon Crash. And in Moon Crash you're on a map that is somewhat similar to this, but it kind of randomly changes and gets more difficult the more you play, and the more progress you make. So yeah, maybe there is a randomization element here, and rushing through it is the right way to play. I don't believe that though. We've lost some radio stations because we're in a different location, and we definitely can't fast travel to any of the other places. We don't have a new companion group to worry about, like the think tank. Still have yet to figure out how to do the pants exploded trick. It's supposed to just work based on what you put in the pants. Done a massive amount of bartering, and we've done at least a little bit of everything else, except for a few things. The misfortune occurrences, we now have that as a perk. It might very well be a case where that we never see it before we just give up on this game. Implants, otherwise, if I could get the special stats up higher, I'd like that. Strength in particular up to 10 would be nice. But yeah, I don't know if going charisma up to 8 or perception up to 8 changes anything more. And luck did not play any role really at the beginning of the of the main game. You can see the amount of XP in the top right is so long that is wrapping around. So yeah, I do think if you're going to play this normally, maybe reduce your luck by quite more. But improving your luck also, it raises all your skills a little, so actually you would want your luck at 10 to start with and your intelligence at 10. You'd probably want to reduce perception. No, because that gives you explosives, energy weapons, and lockpicking. I would like strength at the highest, if you could. Honestly, the real choice is just to cheat. Just start with everything at 10, you'll be in a more interesting spot. Also noticing we're right next to this X12 research center, and we don't have anything telling us to go to the X12 research center. So my concern is that if I was to run, where are these guys? They're shooting at me. It definitely feels like this is a Y-17 trauma override harness that we're shooting. Even playing on very easy, this is quite a lot. And I do believe that that override harness.
Are you out there, my little teddy bear lobotomite? Darling misses you, and the pitter-patter of your penis feeds so much.
Seems like we are just going to get some random encounters. Yeah, my gun just does not feel particularly strong, even with overcharge weapons. So anyways, my concern is that I would go inside this building and then I would just see a shield that won't allow me to go any further. Or might get attacked by something fairly strong. But it's so close. Getting distracted does seem like that is in line with what you should do. Meanwhile, I also am, I think, fairly quickly going to start to have, like, these more generic weapons show up. And potentially get replaced. And then lobotomite. Mask and goggles versus masks. Patient gowns. I want a perfect condition of every item just for a collection. Of course, to actually engage with that collection would also mean carrying it back and forth. And so what I probably will end up doing at the end of this quest would be to have myself be incredibly over encumbered and just carry hundreds if not thousands of pounds of items. I'm also noticing that on my main screen, when I look at the color, it has far less of a sepia tone than my... And you can't even... Interesting that the Night Stalker is damaged at all by a sonic gun. You can't even stand in one place without something attacking you. This is definitely more what I was expecting from Fallout 3, is that it would be an actual dangerous location wherever you were standing. But yeah, on very easy you don't see that. More than likely if you're playing on the higher difficulty. I guess it's also worth mentioning that I have like 35 out of 75 achievements, which makes me suspect that a lot of these achievements may be DLC related, and maybe we'll get lucky and there's only 1 or 2 achievements of the main game that has to be unlocked or requires special effort to unlock. Otherwise, I'm not going to get all the achievements, and since Steam only highlights games where you get all the achievements, it probably wouldn't be worth the effort to grind out achievements. But I can say that we have gotten 1 achievement specific to this DLC, so we know at least some of the remaining achievements are DLC related. Anyways, that's going to be it for this episode. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, and keep on watching. Thanks.